Hey everybody, my name is Brian Ray. I'm the owner of North Texas Waste Removal. As you can guess, located up here in the North Texas area, Dallas-Fort Worth area. Today I would like to talk to you about starting a roll-off dumpster business part-time, just using it as a supplemental income, part-time with the intention on moving full-time, and then we're going to wrap everything up talking about just diving in head deep, starting a full-time roll-off dumpster business. So stay tuned and we'll get right back after this short intro. All right, welcome back. So I've been wanting to start this channel for a while now. Actually, I wanted to start it right from the beginning, just kind of document my first year, 2 years in the business and kind of give back, help those that are getting started in that, or to help those that are struggling, already having a business. So this is take number 3 on starting a roll-off dumpster business. I've have one posted right now. That's going to be coming off, and this is going to replace that. This was just really lengthy, and I just didn't really like the video, the content, whatever it was. So we're going to start over today. So as promised, we're going to talk a little bit about starting it part time with the intention on moving full time, and then we're going to wrap everything up with full time. So, to give you a little bit of background, and I think it's important because um, we all come from different backgrounds, and when we start the business, we have different things going at the time. So, I spent 29 years as a fireman. So I retired from that. So, and the reason why I say that is I have a supplemental income. I have my retirement pension that basically pays my bills. Not much more than that, but it basically pays my bills. And I had that when I started my roll off dumpster business. So I had an advantage as far as going in full time. So doing that and knowing that, I started researching roll off dumpster businesses. This came from a time when my gym owner and me were just discussing businesses that we thought might be recession proof and also discussing businesses that we thought would have a relatively low startup cost. And roll off dumpsters came up. So I started, and it kind of intrigued me. I've never owned a business before, didn't know what website, SEO, any of that, especially SEO, didn't even know what it meant. So I knew zero about running a business, especially a roll off dumpster business, because I was not in the market or beforehand. I had nothing to do with roll off dumpsters or waste management or anything. So everything was a big learning curve for me. So the extent of research I did was getting on YouTube and basically watching videos like this one. And then also the other research I did was basically getting on the websites and seeing how much everybody was renting their roll off dumpsters for. And then kind of came down to, well, if they're renting their dumpsters for, let's just say, an average of $500 for a 7 or 10 day rental, you have about $50 in gas maximum, $100 in landfill fees, so that's 150 bucks. So 350 bucks profit. And I went, man, I can make a killing in this business. And so that was my attitude getting in. So I researched trailers, dumpsters, all that, and found Texas Pride had a um, dumpster, a 16-foot, 18K dumpster with three 15-yard, sorry, a 16-foot, 18K trailer with three 15-yard dumpsters as a package. We're going to go into that about the specs and the operation of it in the next video. But so I said, hey, that sounds great. So I ordered one, and but I changed it instead of 15 yards. I changed it to a 15 to 20 and 25-yard dumpster because I honestly didn't know what I needed at the time, and that was the extent of my research. So, having said that, I came from a different background. I came from a different circumstance, having a retirement, wanting to dive head deep into a full time business and start running a business. And that was okay for me, but it might not be okay for you. Your circumstances might be different. So, let's talk a little bit about part time. Can you make money in the roll off dumpster industry using your business as a part-time supplemental income, nights, weekends, things like that? And my opinion is absolutely. So some of the benefits about starting a roll-off dumpster business part-time is that you're not under the gun as far as having to see growth from the very get go. So if you have a full time job and you're making bills and all that kind of thing, there's not that pressure of growing the business really quick in order to generate that revenue to make ends meet. If you're especially if you're wanting this as an extra spending money, vacation fund, things along those lines, you have plenty of time starting this out to grow your business. You're not under the gun of having to do it really quickly. So that's one positive. Another positive is you're going to have relatively lower startup costs because you don't need a lot of dumpsters to for a lot of volume to make money in this. So coming in, buying a used trailer, buying one, two to three dumpsters will get you started as long as you have something to pull it with, will get you started in this business. If you don't have the money for that, you can always start with doing junk removal and using a cargo trailer, 15, 16-foot utility trailer, and going that route until you have the money saved up to go ahead and move into the trailer and the dumpsters, like I talked about before. So that's a huge advantage. Your startup cost is a lot less than if you're wanting to do this full time. Another benefit, I have notes here, so if I keep looking down, that's what it is. Another benefit is, and if you want to take a day off, if you want to take a week off, if you want to take a month off, you have the ability to do that because you already have a job that's meeting your needs. You're using this as supplemental income. So if you're sick, take a sick day. You just don't schedule any dumpster pickups or deliveries for that day. If you want to go, if you've been working for 6 months or a year in this business and you have a vacation fund set up that you've used your roll off dumpster revenue to build, and you're going to go on a week, 2 week vacation with your family, you just don't schedule any dumpster pickups or deliveries for that week or two. So it's kind of the best of all worlds if you're not wanting to scale your business to a full-time job because you're able to be that entrepreneur and receive the benefits of building this business much earlier than you would if you were running it full time. So let's talk a little bit about part time to full time. Now, all the benefits I just talked about, as far as low startup cost, no need for hurried growth, being able to take time off, apply to part time with the intention on moving to full time. Now, as you scale this business, because you're going to want to get to a certain amount of revenue, amount of phone calls, amount of bookings to be able to justify quitting that job and moving into it full time. As you grow that business, you're able to do it at a pace that you want to and not at a pace that's determined for you as if you were doing this full time. So you're able to grow and scale your business And then when you get to that point where you can say, all right, now's the time for me to move from this part-time business into full-time because the revenue is there, that's completely up to you. You're able to do that at any point you want to. One thing that I might throw in though is doing it that way. You really have to be cognizant of the fact that you need to change that mindset. You need to change that part-time mindset to a full-time mindset in order for you to be successful in your full-time business. Because there's a lot more expenses with a full-time business than there are with a part-time business. You have SEO, you have marketing, you have um, rent. You're going to need to find a place you can store a larger amount of dumpsters. There's a lot of things that we're going to talk about here in a second that are associated with running a full-time roll-off dumpster business that you're going to have to start thinking about and planning for before you make that leap into full-time. Um, your shutdown time, you can still do that because you're not married to the business in a way that you are when you're doing it full time. Um, but you also have to understand that with a part time business, the growth is going to be slower. Even if you have the intention of moving it to full time, you only have part time to devote to the business. So your growth might be relatively longer to get to that point where you can move to full time. So just take that, just be aware of that, and just plan for that. Now, most of your, when it comes to part time and part time with the intention on moving full time, you want to stay as lean as you possibly can. So that way you do have a profit that you can move into accounts or you can move into a savings account, getting ready for that move into full time. So most of your marketing can be done through social media. You don't have to have a presence on Google, websites, map section, organic searches, things along those lines until you're ready to move into the full-time business. So most of your marketing, most of your ads and things like that will be done through Facebook, and that will generate, at least it has for me, enough revenue that you can consider that a part-time business. Um, and if that's where you're going to stay, that's where I would just make my post: marketplace, marketplace, marketplace. Make you a Facebook business page, and that's where you're going to live. Now, with part time, with the intention on moving full time, you're going to do that same thing. But then towards when you start to really think about moving full time, you're going to start building that presence with the SEO company. Unless you have a background in that, you're going to be building that presence on Google prior to pulling the trigger on that full-time job, because you want that presence to already be there. You want your rankings to be relatively high so that way you're generating calls outside of just Facebook. So full-time, again, I had a pension. I had the ability to be able to pay my bills whether this business failed or was extremely successful at the beginning. I had capital from the beginning that I was able to purchase everything I needed to with cash, except for I financed my 2022 Chevy Duramax to pull my trailer. That was the only thing that I financed coming into this business. And I started with, and I'm gonna be honest with you with these numbers, I started with about 100 grand. And over the course of about a year and a half, I spent 100 grand on this business, from dumpsters to repairs to graphics to failed attempts at Angie's List to everything wrapped up. Over the course of about a year and a half, I spent close to $100,000 on this business. And growth was important to me, and I really focused on that, and it paid off. So if you have revenue coming in, if you're already retired, whatever it is, revenue you're coming in, you're able to get through the highs and the lows over your first couple of years compared to someone who is jumping in full time and this is their business, this is their only revenue, this is their only income for them, the business and the family. It's going to be much more difficult to make a go at this business. So my recommendation, so on full time, you're going to have a lot more overhead and a lot more expenses trying to run a full-time dumpster rental business and be successful. You're going to have that SEO. You're going to have general liability insurance, commercial liability insurance. If you don't have a place to work from at home, you're going to have rent. You're going to have a place, a yard, to be able to put enough dumpsters to make a go at this business. So there's going to be a lot more associated cost. Software is a big cost. A lot more fuel, a lot more landfill fees. So there's a lot more cost associated with full-time business versus part-time, and part-time with the intention on moving to full-time. So my suggestion, this is my opinion, and it's my opinion only. As far as diving in head deep to a full-time roll-off dumpster business, if you don't have the capital and a supplemental revenue to do this, I would suggest not do it. You can find something else that's a little bit more lucrative, a little bit more fast growing. When you, as far as bringing in revenue, your growth is quicker, because it takes a good couple of years, a year and a half to 2 years, before I was even able to start paying myself a salary. I just now started paying myself a salary. We're going on almost 2 years this coming January, which is in 3 months. I just now started paying myself a salary, and the salary I'm paying myself is only 10% of my revenue. So it's a relatively low salary. So unless you have a supplemental incomes, such as a retirement, and the capital to keep your financing to an absolute minimum, I would suggest doing something else. Or starting out part-time with the intention on moving full-time when you're ready. Because there are peak seasons in the dumpster rental business, as I've experienced, when it gets cold, at least here in Texas, and I would say that's mostly anywhere in the South, actually anywhere, period. Your residential sales will come down. So what I have seen is people finance a truck, finance a trailer, finance your dumpsters, have all this financing, and they're okay during the spring, summer, and early fall. But when things start slowing down, they're not able to make those payments anymore. And you'll see it on all these Facebook groups of people selling off all their stuff because they can't make their payments. It's either get them repoed or sell them off. And I would say that people who start this business diving in full time without the capital, that are having to finance things, there's probably a 90% rate of failure in this business. The few lucky ones, and honestly, that's probably what's going to boil down to, is luck. If you're having to finance real heavy, that 10% is it's just luck, in my opinion. So, but if you have that capital and you have a way of paying yourself for a year, year and a half, 2 years, then yeah, you can make good money over time in this business. It's going to take a little bit of time. Like I said, I've been doing it almost 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. I'm just now paying myself a salary and putting myself in the position to where next year, I can really grow. On my third year is really my growth year as far as inventory and seeing that growth. So if you're able to do that, then yes, you can make money, or in good money eventually, in the roll-off dumpster business. So just to recap, if you're using it as a part-time job, it's a good part-time job. It really is. It can bring you in some supplemental income. Your expense, as long as you keep your expenses very, very low. Part-time with the intention on moving full time is what most people do. And yes, if you have time and you have the mindset and the patience to grow your business and get all your ducks in a row before you step off into that full time, then yes, you can also make good money over time in the roll off dumpster business. If you're wanting to do this full time from the beginning, really tread lightly, really think about it, because unless you have the capital to hold yourself for a year and a half to 2 years, unless you have the capital to pay your bills and keep financing down to an absolute minimum, pay yourself a salary, I would strongly suggest looking at something that could bring you a salary a little bit quicker. If you do have that, then yes, if this is something that you want to do, you can make good money at it. But you're really going to have to work on your professionalism, your growth, and just be patient with this business. So I hope all this helps. If you have any questions whatsoever, um, comment below, give me a phone call. I'm going to put my phone number in the comments so that, hey, if you do have a question, I don't mind you calling me. You can message me, whatever it is that you need to do. But I hope this was some help. So if you liked this video and you felt like it was helpful at all, please like and share. Follow my website. I mean, my website, my channel, and there's already a trailer demo in there as far as my Texas Pride roll-off trailer, and then we're going to dive deep into some of the aspects I covered here. We're going to dive a lot deeper into my trailer as far as loading, unloading dumpsters, how to do that, how to load big weighted dumpsters, things along those lines, and then we're going to talk about every aspect of the business, finances, budgeting, profit, whatever it is that I do to run this business. We're going to be talking, and my hope is that I can help as many people out there. Number one, grow their business, but number two, make sure that this is a proper fit for you if you're kicking the tires and starting a roll off dumpster business. So y'all have an absolutely great day and have a blessed week, and I look forward to seeing you soon.